Okay, hello everybody. First, before I actually get into any of the content of this video, I do want to put a little disclaimer out there. I have a cold right now, so I may actually have to cut this off earlier than I wanted to, because if my voice starts to go out, I'm just going to have to stop. So, yes, right, I should actually be studying calculus as well, because I have a calculus exam in 4 hours. So, yeah, fun stuff. Oh yes. Excuse me. Okay, so let me quit that really quick. And okay, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So I'm going to start off with some easy stuff here. I did add a note here, which you guys might be able to tell what the new note is. But first we're going to go through, we're going to listen to this just really quick to get a refresher, and then we're going to deal with the toms. Making sure they're in stereo and just kind of giving a little bit of spacing there. And then we'll figure out where to go from there. Hey! Ray, okay. I will do that then. Okay, so here we go. This is what we have right now. Okay, so the one thing that we had problems with earlier was this little section right here, the fill. We have 3 notes that are all on the left side. And that's kind of not so great. So what we could actually probably do is move this to one of the other ones. There we go, like right there. And we don't actually have to do too much else. That was actually really easy. Made that little part nice there. And okay, so with that, I said last time I was probably going to focus on structure in this particular video, and working out more for the song, and just kind of make it so we could build off on it. So we'll probably do that, but I wanted to mention here, I put add vocals. I'm not actually going to put like real legit vocals in this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do some mediocre half-baked singing off screen, and then I'm just going to take that recording in, and we're going to pitch it and chop it, and it'll kind of be more like the deep house or kind of those various styles. And we're just going to pitch stuff around and have fun with it. It won't necessarily be like full-blown vocals per se. So that's kind of the intent with the add vocals there. So, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going to do it while streaming, just because I want to try to, I'm probably just going to spend like an hour recording stuff, and then I'm just going to chop up the things I think are worth taking, and then I'll throw those into one long audio track, and then I'll drop it into the project, and then we'll start doing the pitch tweaking, and we'll start doing the chopping and shifting and stuff like that, so that it sounds musical. So you won't be missing much by not seeing me record. I'm literally just gonna like sing gibberish into the microphone, and then from there we'll have fun with it and try to do some interesting things. But you will see the actual doing the cool stuff in the stream. So I'll make that a goal for this one. I kind of wanted to do this. I actually did recently. I did a track that I actually did something like this, and it turned out pretty good. And one of the persons I sent it to said that they thought I did a really good job at it. So I was like, why not try actually implementing these in one of my original tracks? So yeah, that's all that, and that's kind of like a future plan a little bit. Not going to do that this episode, like I said, because I'm not going to be recording right now. Okay, so structure. Now this is going to be the fun part. Let's see. I think what we're probably going to need to do is chill out the first section, and actually we could get rid of some of these now, because we don't need any of those anymore. And so we'll grab all of these and we'll slide them over to here. And what we'll do is I don't want all these over. I just want I want everything except for our little, which one is it? So I don't want this one. I want the rest though. I'm gonna move that over there and just cycle it. So what we have here is we have a 4-bar section, a 4-bar section, a 4-bar section, and a 4-bar section. So what that breaks down into is 2 8-bar sections, and that's kind of it's kind of standard in the way when you work like that. If you have an 8-bar section and then change something up 8 bars later, that's generally how a lot of electronic music runs. So we could just run the same thing for 8 bars and then add one thing in another 8-bar loop. So that's what we're going to do here. And I think I want to start with this for... Yeah. And then what we'll probably do here is add some percussive elements. So let's see if I can add a note right here. Marker. Let's see if we create a marker and percussive elements. So I usually don't make notes, but I was like, what the heck? We'll put this here so I remember. Because I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to work out the track structure, because I still haven't listened to a lot of this music style. I have listened to some, but not too much. Okay. Is it possible to have multiple scales within a single track, like a C major scale for the bass and some other scale for the chords or lead? Yes and no. It is possible to have multiple scales in a track, but not at the same time. You usually don't want to do multiple scales at the same time because you'll get stuff that sounds like really bad. So what you usually do in that case then is you'd have one section is in one key, and then you do some sort of build and then drop into, when I say drop, I mean just generically, not like actually make a drop, but I mean like change a key after you do some sort of build. And then it'll sound very impactful. But the hard thing is if you choose the wrong key or you change it at the wrong time, then what can happen is it won't sound like this really cool key change. It'll sound like you have no idea what you're doing with the song. So it is possible, but it's very difficult to do it right, and you should probably not. I mean, there might be some cases where it's been done, but you should probably not have two keys playing at the same time, because then it just sounds weird. Now, that said, I think there are some... It's not what I want. Where's the events here? Because I need to change the duration of this note. I completely forgot how to change the duration of notes. But yet, there are some more, like, I don't know. Like, for example, some of the eerie stuff that Martin Garrix does, it's because he, like, does a key change halfway through a progression or something. And I think that's how he gets the sound. So it's like you're in one key, and then halfway through the progression, you change to another key, which makes it sound kind of, like, eerie because you're doing this change at an awkward time. So yes, there are ways to do it, but it's pretty difficult, and that it just take a lot of experimenting and work. Marker, go figure, it's down marker. So we're gonna make that just yay long. There we go. Okay. So we have our percussive elements there, and this is gonna be a continuation of that. So we're going to shift this over here because we don't want this to come in until this section. So we have the 3 sections here. This is kind of like our beginning, and this is we add some more to it. This is we add some more to it. This is where we add some more stuff to it. Percussive elements. I'll show you what those are in a second here. And then this section is where we're going to add a brighter lead. So the one that you've been hearing. So let's do some percussive elements then, I guess. Now, one of the things about percussive elements is I actually, when I first heard this genre, all I could think was, oh, so that's where you would use that. Because one of the things, we're going to create a software instrument. One of the things about this genre is the percussive elements sound like they're straight from Ultrabeat collections. So if we go to electronic drum kits, drum kit. I don't remember where they keep all of these. I think it might be down electronic drum kit. Drum machine designer, drum machine. You know what? We'll just load in Ultra Beat and then try to find some stuff. Ultra Beat stereo. And sorry if I'm being a lot slower or more confused. It's partially due to the cold as well. Okay, so now we could go to the drum kits here, and here we go. So we have the analog techno kit. This is one of the ones I think. Let me turn this down actually. Yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking about. So we have these various sounds. That sound kind of lame by themselves. I'll be honest. When I started to use Ultra Beat, I was like, well, all these samples suck. Why would I ever use any of them? And that's pretty much the case for a lot of the Ultra Beat electronic drum kits. Like the electronic ones are like far from what real electronic music would use most of the time, which is kind of weird. I don't know how they mess that up so much. But if you go to like some of these other ones here, we'll find actually have some good sounds. Like, where was that one? Kind of like these two that are like lo-fi, and they'll work rather well with the sort of tone that we have going on right now. So we'll probably not use this one. I'm gonna look through a couple more, and we'll see which one we want to use. Okay, so when you save samples, they go to your downloads folder. How do you get them into Logic? So this is one of the questions that people ask me rather often. When you download samples and you have them in your downloads folder, like right here, then usually what you'll do is you'll copy them to another folder. So like in my case, I have a samples folder, so I just go to my music, and if you see, this is just my music folder right here, and all I have to do is click my samples, and I store all my samples in here. And what that lets me do is when I go into the browser, if I click all files, then it drops me into, by default, I think it drops me into home or music. I don't remember which one. But if I just go down, like I said, I could go to any folder. I could even go to downloads here and start to grab stuff out of downloads if I wanted. But like I said, I usually put stuff in music, and then I just go to my samples, and then boom, everything's in there, and I can start to browse through them. So that's what I usually do. Alternatively, you could just go to your samples and then actually, hold on a second here. What the heck? You could have your samples and then just drag them in. That works just as well, but previewing them is not quite as fast. You kind of have a little bit of a delay when you start to click the play button, and then you can't like switch between them quite as fast when you're checking them. So that's kind of that's two ways you could do it. You could either store it in a way and then just go through the browser here, going to whatever folder you have it saved in, or you could actually just pop open a Finder window and drag it in. So that's usually how I work the samples. Okay. You can use a minor scale, go 3 notes up, go 3 notes in the scale up. That is a major. Minor scale, okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's drop through a couple more of these and see if we can find something interesting. So classic dub, classic electro. It's electro or techno, I think. It's this one, I think. I think this one's it, because I was like, all these sounds are so stinking corny, why would I ever use them? Like, classic electro. I have yet to hear any of those effects in an electro track. It's just weird. We'll check out the techno one as well, though, because that one might have. You know what we'll do is we'll actually get both of these, because I kind of like both of the styles of them. We'll mix and match them. So we'll have the techno kit and the electro kit. So once again, this is going to be one of those cases where I'm just going to kind of fudge around and see if I could figure out how to get something that sounds good, because I stink at sequencing and drums when I'm actually doing like drum sounds in general. So like I'm just trying to create a drum pattern that's unique. I don't do very well at that. I just kind of click stuff around and shift it until it works right, and I think it sounds okay. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We'll probably want to have a section, yeah, like that, and we'll just have 2 seconds there. So we'll basically have a 4-bar loop here, and we'll just loop it twice. Same thing that we were doing up here. So let me get the out of the way. The long kicks sound like the bass. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what we could do here. Now, one of the more convenient things about this is I could actually go. Okay. It's too quiet. Also, I'm not going to be doing much EQing or compressing in this video. Probably, I might not do any at all, just because my hearing is a little bit off from having a cold as well. Let's try this again. We'll go to the So right now I'm really just dropping in random notes. That sounds okay. Okay, let's see here. Then that sounds okay. So we'll kind of stick with that sort of style for now. Okay, big producers use Logic, for example. What would used to be sweetest, but you think they use Logic sounds to make melodies or any other song component? Okay, big producers use Logic, for example. What used to be Swedish House Mafia, but do you think they use Logic sounds to make melodies or any other song components? So if you're asking if they use like samples or kind of pre-made sounds for all their melodies and chords and stuff, they definitely did not. Because pretty much like if you're a well-known producer and you do stuff like that, it's kind of seen as like seriously, did you really do that? And it's seen as very unartistic. And additionally, as those guys are very good artists, they wouldn't resort to like loops just because they're not really, loops are not good enough. They're not new per se. So if you think, well, they sound good to me. They don't just need to sorry. They don't just need to sound good. They need to kind of be something fresh, something new, something that someone hasn't come up with before. So when it comes to samples, pretty much all that the big producers will use is drum samples, or sometimes one-shot samples that they'll tweak around or play with. But for the most part, it's just drums and effects. So yeah, everything that they do is going to be in synthesizers. Oh, I just bit my tongue. Today is not going well for me. I'm gonna turn on the volume of this one. Velocity. Now this is starting to sound like stereotypical bad. Of course, you can't hear any of those now. That one needs to be quieter. Ah, this is not turning out as well as I was hoping. Ah, okay, one sec. Okay, I don't know, because I don't know how to do these types of drums well. So would they be using sounds from the library to insert into the piano roll and create melodies like you are now? So you mean like the synthesizer presets? Like would they go just kind of grab one of the I don't know what a good example is, but we'll just create a new track here. Okay, so yeah, a good enough example. How there's like presets here that we could choose from and select stuff and work with those. Like, would they use those? The answer for that one is yes and no. It depends. It depends on the producer. Some producers like to design all their synthesizers from scratch. Others actually use presets and tweak them, and some like presets so much that they'll just actually keep that whole preset. So, so yeah, when it comes to presets, it's a wide range. It just really depends on the artist, but there's nothing wrong with using presets. Now that said, a lot of Logic's built-in presets are not all that great. Some of them are pretty good, but it's yeah. They tend to change it up quite a bit, but there are some that I don't remember who, but it was like I was watching some videos about some producers, and they were like, yeah, I was going through trying to find something, just to kind of inspire me, and then I ran across this one. It was just perfect, so I only like tweaked the cutoff, and then but otherwise it's exactly the same. So sometimes they will keep it very close to the same, but in other cases they'll like design something from scratch or completely remodify it. So so yeah, it really depends. Let's see. Okay, so first of all, I want to copy this noise right here really quick. Okay, we're gonna cut down the number of drums here. It's not working in this regard. So what we'll try to do is okay, so we're gonna delete that. I really like this sound effect because I've heard it in a few places, and it just sounds so corny to me, but when you use it correctly, it actually fits rather well. Can't hear it at all. This doesn't even cut through the mix at all. This probably isn't going to cut through the mix at all either. Yeah. Oh gosh, this is not working out at all. We're going to try a different kit here. Not that that's going to make me any better at this. I'm just kind of not liking some of the sounds now. This is the Electro on Deep House. Let's see if there's anything decent here. So one of the things you want to kind of do with don't know if I can do it right. Let's see. So one of the things you want to try to do with this sort of style is you want to try to make sounds be timed in unusual ways. So like, for example, usually you wouldn't put a note right here. So if you look, if we have a quarter note right here that goes from here to here. Usually you'd either put it straight on or in the middle. It's not too common that you'll put something right here unless you're doing a pattern that is kind of like this. Yeah, something like that. And then you kind of end up right there. But in most cases, when you have a singular note, you don't do it like right here. That sounds terrible. I should have expected that. Okay. I have a very bad idea. Let's see here. Where is it? Try this. Yeah, none of these are gonna work. Yeah, none of them are gonna work, partially just because they're stretched and partially because they're really fast. So, oh, this is not working out at all. I hate it when I get, like, producer's block like this. Oh, okay. That's probably more what we needed. Sounds a little bit corny. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to drop an EQ on here and just pull up the, cut off all the bass. So we just get the high end. And we could add these stranger sounds without worrying about bass buildup. So I'll just do the same thing over here. And for the sake of consistency, copy, paste. Sweet. Okay, so this one's timed a little bit awkwardly, for better or worse. Okay, so I think this is more what it needed. I was going too fast before. We'll probably reorganize these quite a bit though. Ever tried using Ableton Live? No, but that's just because it's not one of the ones I ended up picking up. I don't know why I never ended up trying that one out, but I have not tried Ableton Live. But I was gonna say I'd totally do like videos on it if a copy fell into my hands, but I don't think I have the time for that. So, but yeah, Ableton Live, I think it's a lot better at working with audio than FL Studio. So it's kind of like the multi-platform version of Logic almost. Bad example, but kind of. I know somebody that uses Ableton Live, and I started a collaboration with him, but that didn't go too far. Everyone always asks me Logic or FL, since I do videos on both. My answer is Logic because I like it. Don't choose Logic or FL Studio because someone says one is better than the other. Just choose it because choose it for whether or not you like it. Because Logic is one of those things where it's like I just feel at home in Logic. I started in FL Studio, so it's not because I started in Logic. I started in FL Studio, and excuse me, and then I went over to Logic. So you kind of think that I'd feel more at home in FL Studio, but FL Studio, I was never able to like get a good grasp of like everything that I do in there. Kind of sounds like a half-baked draft, and I can't really push it past that. It's kind of weird, but there's like it's been proven by the fact that a lot of producers use both, but you could use either one to make millions of dollars. So there's nothing wrong with choosing either, and yeah, a lot of big producers use FL. I believe Armin van Buuren uses Logic, and actually Martin Garrix uses Logic sometimes as well. But for me, it's like I use Logic as long as I have my Mac available, and I only use FL when I don't have my Mac. So that's just kind of how it works for me. But like I said, it depends what interface you like better, what workflow you like better. Yeah, and a lot of producers use FL, Ableton, Logic, and Cubase. Those are like the four big ones. So if you grab one of those, then you can't go wrong. It doesn't matter which one you get. If you have one of those, it's good enough. So yeah, really, it's just up to you. Which one do you feel comfortable with? Because they each have their pros and cons. But okay, Sylenth or Massive. If I had to choose, Sylenth, because Sylenth sounds so much better. I could never get a good sound out of Massive. It's powerful. You could get a lot of creativity, but everything that came out of it sounded so stale and bland. I was like, I couldn't get a good tone to anything. It was actually pretty terrible. But that was just my experience with it. Not necessarily the case. There's some people that know how to use Massive, so that sounds good. But quite frankly, I see Massive as like the popular choice. Like a lot of people use it because a lot of people use it. Not necessarily because it's so great, because there are a lot of other synthesizers out there that have much better tone and or are more flexible. So realistically, I think Massive has too much hype. Sylenth is not too powerful per se, but it has really good tone. Some of the low end in Sylenth is lacking, so you some low end / mids. So sometimes you have to warm it up, but the high end sounds refined in an analog sense. So it sounds kind of, I don't know. It has good tone. It has good tone, but sometimes not quite enough body. Massive, on the other hand, just sounds brittle. I can't ever get it to sound good. How about Spire? That's one of the ones that I looked into and I haven't gotten yet. Someone told me that there was a student discount. I checked. The student discount brings it down to like $130 or $40, and I don't have the money to invest in it. I haven't downloaded the trial yet, so I don't know too much about Spire. No, I'm not Spire. Serum is what I was thinking of. Spire. One sec. I don't think I've heard Spire that much. Spire. Synth. Yeah. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, this one's kind of cool. I remember seeing some stuff about this, but I've never actually used it or identified stuff that was made with it. So yeah, the Spire I don't have any feedback on. But yeah, one of the things that I've probably said this every video in the series, but the synthesizers in Logic kind of stink. So you'll want to get an external synthesizer. That's all I'm going to say in regards to that topic right now, because I've already covered it like a whole bunch of other times in my other videos. But mellow trance producers, I think Spire is one of the ones that's like known for having really good tone for saws. I think, like kind of the not necessarily saws, but like detuned stuff. I think I don't remember though. Not 100% sure. Okay, let's get back to this. That's kind of the sound I was going for. Okay, so we're going to need to pull these up quite a bit. Just pull it up all the way. All the way. Okay, so now what we got to do is find... We'll adjust the volume levels these later. Ugh, my talking is so like... Something's not quite right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna have a, you see there's like a few notes in this area, and then a lot of notes in this area. So I'm gonna put a few notes in the next section, which is right kind of in here, and then I'm gonna actually put some. I'm gonna deal with this stuff at the end here, see if I'll keep it or not. Hey, what's up? Oh, okay. Let's see. Sure, why not? So I'm kind of liking this in the sense that it's got the right idea, but some of the stuff is not done well at all. So I think the approach now would be to cut and add. So we're going to cut some stuff out and add some other stuff in. So we'll cut you out, you out, you out. Sounds terrible. Oh. This is not going at all how I was hoping. Hey, what's up? Yeah, this isn't going good at all. I don't know. Maybe we'll just ditch this idea and do something else. Totally Actually, I guess better way to check would be, do these stand up with the rest of this? Easy way to find out. I mean, it's not that bad, but it doesn't really add to it. It's not good enough to where it actually sounds like we should keep it. Darn. Not quite sure what to pull here. I'm gonna save this really quick. Yeah, I'm gonna need to listen to more music of this genre before I start doing anything with these. So I'm just gonna mute these for now because I imagine it'll be so much easier if I like listen to the music and really figure out what they do with these drums, because I was just kind of thinking, we'll drop stuff in, see how it sounds, but there's not enough method to my madness, so it's not turning out at all. So that said, what time is it? 3:02. Okay, so I'm probably going to just end this stream in 15 minutes. So if you guys want to start throwing whatever questions you may have into the chat there, and I will answer them. Otherwise, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Apologies that this has kind of been like a rather slow and pathetic video. But like I said, I have a cold, and I also have an exam today that I need to be studying for. So fun stuff. Also did want to mention that there's not going to be a stream next week because that's Christmas, and I'm not going to drive down to here where my computer is because I'm going to be up with my family for Christmas. So not going to be a stream next week. I'll post up something somewhere on the YouTube channel just in case people miss this. Excuse me. But yeah, no stream. I probably might. I don't know. There might be FL videos. It depends on what I end up having time to record while I'm here before I head off back home. So we'll see. But yeah, it's kind of been a sad video today. But yeah, I probably the next video I'll have the vocals so we could actually where's some notes. So we could actually do some chopping, and that'll be a lot more fun because there's some cool stuff you could do with pitching. And I'm not very good at chopping vocals, but I'm pretty good at pitching them. So yeah, we'll see. Any tips on how to advance when you're stuck in a loop and can't figure out what to do? It kind of depends what you mean. Like in my case, you see, like I'm kind of stuck with this part and it's not working. So the two things I would do is, one, move on to something else and try working on that other thing for a while, and two, listen to professional tracks that use that or implement that, and I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, listen to tracks that use or implement that and figure out how they did it. But if you mean like generally speaking, how to advance when you're kind of, every single track you put out is no better than the previous one. First of all, remember that progress tends to be slower. And also, one of the best things you could do is whenever you make a track, I strongly suggest comparing it to a professional track right as soon as you finish it, because you'll think, oh, this track is great, and then you'll compare it to the professional track right after, how did that get moved over there? Okay. Right after you finished it, and then you'll suddenly be like, oh, this is nowhere near as good as I thought it was. And from there, compare and figure out what the difference is. So like, for example, some people have trouble with their mix downs, so everything sounds muddy and kind of squashed together. And so that means that'd be one of the things you have to look for. And then if that happens to be your issue, then my suggestion for that is choose one particular piece and just try to make it sound as good as a professional track, like your kick drum. Generic example there, but it's a good example. If you're like, okay, all my tracks sound flat, muddy, whatever, just next time you work on a track, focus on making the kick drum sound as good as a professional kick drum, and from there you'll kind of get you'll start to get a better ear for what is right, and you won't be so hard pressed to when you're working on something to be like, so how do I make this better? You'll just kind of know what to do as you get used to it. And what was my other suggestion for that? But yeah, the biggest thing is comparing your tracks to professional tracks. It's not very fun because then you see how terrible you actually are, but it's what's gonna push you to do so much better. If all you do is make a song and then make another song and then make another song, you're not gonna improve all that much. Just because you're not really comparing to anything better to improve with. So, and I guess another example would be transitions and strong song structure is one of the other things that people tend to be not so good at when they send me their demos. It's like they have an idea for a song, but it either repeats itself in weird ways, or there's not clear-cut sections, or the transitions either just blend for too long, so they're like really long transitions and it kind of meshes everything together, or they're just too static and drastic and it's just like one thing and then another thing and then another thing, and it doesn't like make a song. It just kind of makes chunks of a song, and or even worse, a blend of musical instruments throughout a track. So you know, my suggestion is just like be very critical in looking at your own stuff and compare it to the music that you like to listen to most. And when you do that, you'll really push your progression to the limit, and you'll be able to improve faster than you were before. So is it possible to be on a C major scale, but my starting note isn't a C? Yes, I believe so. I honestly can't say whether or not that's done often, because I haven't actually broke down a lot of songs musically in terms of, you know, what chords they use, what note progressions. But it is definitely possible to have a C major scale, but your starting note is not on C. Now, it might sound weirder to the ear, but that's a great thing to utilize. Because, you know, if it sounds weird, it's also a way to utilize that weirdness to kind of have it sound eerie, is like the word I like to use very often. Let's see if we can do something funny here. So I know that C major is just a little white key, so I could just go... So that's, you know, you could start things off on a different note. I'm in the C major scale, or arguably I'm in the I think it's A minor, but that's just because they're relative. What do you call it? There's for every major scale there's a matching minor scale that has the exact same notes. But yeah, it'd probably be more noticeable if you had a chord progression. Let's see if I can come up with something weird. So it's 3, and that should be 7. Yeah. So we'll do this. Timing is not lined up right. There we go. That sounds terrible. Not what I wanted. So you can do stuff. It's just sometimes it takes more time. I mean, like, I wouldn't consider this a good example, but yeah, you definitely can do stuff. It's just a matter of course I want to make sure that I'm not G. Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't actually using the A minor scale, but yeah, you definitely can do it that way. And it's probably not that much harder than a regular chord progression. It's just when in doubt, start on the root note, because it kind of solidifies that. But at the same time, you could find that it feels a little cliche. So that might be a reason that you wouldn't want to do that. But like I said, it's all just like up to your stylistic preferences. I tend to stink at making chords and melodies on an actual note scale like this for some reason. I find it's a lot easier when I go about doing it on a keyboard. So my family my grandparents gave my family a piano. So whenever I've gone hang out with the family, I've just been kind of messing around, making chord progressions and stuff. And I find it so much easier to do on a piano or a keyboard than actually keying in the notes, because when you start to feel the chords and you start to play them on an actual piano, you'll kind of get an idea of what'll sound nice by just moving around. You won't have to actually whereas this, it's like you're like, okay, so I need to put one here and then move up by 3 notes or 5 notes or whatever, and then you design something that and then it could sound like a lot weaker than it might sound otherwise. So I don't know, maybe I could so this was one of the things that I was kind of messing around with, I think, when I came up with this, but and then you drop. This is in a different key. Just keep that in mind. So it's like, when you start to actually work on a piano, you could come up with stuff like that a lot easier than you would like keying them in with a pencil in the actual piano roll here. So that's for me. It might not be for you, but that's just kind of what I find. So yeah, it's no harder to start on a different note for your chord progression, bass line, or melody. It's just, it's stylistic preference. When in doubt, start on that note, because what the heck. But otherwise, feel free to do as you wish. Just remember that if you don't have a key selected and you start to make a melody, usually it ends up being in the key of your first note. So that's kind of what tends to happen. But like I said, if you start from a different note and you have your key selected, then you could totally do something. It's just like, when you don't have a key selected, it tends to fall under that note. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. I'm starting to lose my mind. And I have an exam today. Fun. Okay, well, it's 3:14. Didn't get anything done in this episode, really. Hopefully we'll have more fun next time when I have the vocals recorded. We'll do some fun stuff with that, and I'll also have a better idea for what to do with these. I think the problem is I'm trying to use these as drums when really they should be used as sparse effects. So I'm gonna need to figure out something to do to remedy that. But that's just gonna take some listening to that style. I have a Pandora station now that's got some music in this genre. I just need to be listening to it more often. I've been kind of the past couple of days I haven't done anything because I was sick, and so I have studying that I need to be doing, which I'll probably be listening to music during, but I just need to focus more on listening to that style so I can kind of get an idea what to do. But yeah, it'll be fun next time. I promise you. That's like 2 episodes that were kind of wasted so far, but this one I kind of expected it to not be as good just because I am still recovering, and I can't think as optimally as I usually would. And I can't talk straight either. Yeah, so we'll have more fun with this later, but I'm just going to wrap this up now because I do need to study for my exam. And like I said, there is going to be no episode next week for sure of this. There's not going to be a live stream next week. The following week, I'll try to do one, but there will be news out on whether or not I'm doing it. I'll say if I am or if I'm not. My suggestion is follow me on Twitter or Facebook. I always put out notifications on one of those. YouTube, I don't put out video notifications all that often just because it takes a lot more effort to upload something to YouTube than it does for me to tweet something out or post something on Facebook. So for announcements and stuff, you'll want to follow me on one of those so that you kind of get an idea of when things are changing, what the plan is, and everything like that. I'll probably start posting more videos with announcements next year, just because I kind of want like everyone on the channel to be aware of this particular thing, because I know that we like right now it says there's 6 people watching the stream. There's probably more. It's just not logging them, but you know, I'm sure there's a lot more people that would like to do this. They just don't really know what the time is because they haven't been checking the comments, so they haven't been checking or paying attention to the times and everything. So I'll do video announcements more next year. I just haven't been doing them as often because it takes more effort to upload them. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I apologize that this video was kind of sad compared to my other ones, but what you gonna do? I mean, kind of at the mercy of what my brain can do for the day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.